Hello, welcome back to Princess Evangile, where we are now inside the school for girls.
Class proceeded smoothly. Solemnly.
Solemnly,
Good, off to a good start.
Obviously, you should watch the last episode if you haven't. But what Rise invited us to be like basically part of a test program to join the school and see if it can become co-ed. So hopefully we don't make a fool of ourselves.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully.
We did the entrance ceremony and we also met Ritsuko.
Yeah. And I think this episode we're gonna meet my least favorite character, which is gonna be fun.
Really?
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay. I might be misremembering, but if it is the one I'm thinking of, I'm gonna be very sad. The only sounds were the scratching of chalk on the board and pages put in textbooks. The scratching of pens in notebooks and could answer the instructor's questions. It's so serious. Like it's a charm school for you. I couldn't help but admire them, but at the same time I had a concern. I was afraid that those illusions that boys tend to have about girls might get shadowed. I had a friend whose sister went to an all-girls school. He told me of the harsh reality of life there. They're basically all old men. From what my friend said, they don't mind farting. Well, that was probably just a minority. But he said many just let the personal grooming slip. Some didn't even care if their panties were showing. Well, I guess it goes without saying anyway. In addition, the classrooms have a distinctive odor. Sweat mixed together with makeup and food.
That was actually kind of a thing in the when I worked at my first grocery store. The women's employee bathroom smelled like makeup, and it was always horrible, like super overpowering.
And for some reason, they really like poop jokes. I was a full-blooded man, and I did have certain illusions about girls. There was a part of me that was afraid of cracks forming those illusions, but that wasn't true at all. No one's panties were showing.
Damn, that's unfortunate.
The room actually had a nice smell to it. As far as I could see, they were all polished young ladies. I guess for Zenith it's a cut up above and more respect than one.
Masaya-san.
Hmm?
If you find anything you don't understand, please don't hesitate to ask me.
Yeah, thanks.
How was class? Did everything make sense?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can keep up.
I see. I'm glad to hear that. I know that changing schools can be difficult in that regard.
I did see religious theory on the schedule. I don't know how to discuss it before.
You should be fine as long as you have basic morals. Although, there are some aspects particular to missionary teachings. Rise-san is just speaking to that boy. She really is progressive, isn't she?
I glanced over the source of the whispers. Risa seemed to be hearing them as well, but she just shrugged.
It's to be expected from your first day after all. They'll get used to you, though.
Right. But while their reaction to me was natural, they also seemed to be giving Risa a wide berth.
What is it? Masaya-san?
No. I just had this feeling like I was being watched. I took a look out the door, but there was no one in the hallway except people walking past.
It does seem possible. For better or worse, you are a person of interest now.
Right. That is true. But still...
Don't let it bother you.
We just don't seem to think it was just anxiety. So she reassured me and left the room. It isn't that. It was hard to explain, but there had been a certain intensity in that gaze. Like their eyes were looking right through me, and I expect someone to have a personal grudge against me on my first day here. I couldn't just be someone with a crush. That would be too inconvenient.
Well,
It must be someone who really hates men. As the recess began following second period, the class suddenly broke into whispers. The entire class turned towards the door. A group of students entered.
it's Grande Fleur. What could La Tortoiseur possibly want with us?
Huh?
Okonogi Masaya-kun, might I request a moment of your time?
Oh, of course.
It is her.
Oh, she's gorgeous. A girl who could give Risa-san a run for her money is still the head of the group with a leisurely hair.
My name is Miyogi Marika. I have come to be here to bid hello to you, Masaya-kun.
Well, thank you.
La Tortoiseur came especially to see him. I can't believe it. It's preposterous. You should have gone to her. Oh no, he can't be allowed to visit Marika-sama.
I do remember Marika being
I
a bit unlikable at first, but
she's I hate this. There's the scene that involves her and him later on. Like it's way down the line. It's my least favorite part of the game.
it better not be when it's raining and like they're really high up. If that other scene was thinking of.
No, it's in the one classroom when they're alone in the classroom
okay.
or something, wherever they are.
Well, what's that done then?
It's literally one of the only parts of the game that I remember because of how much I hated it.
Miyogi?
What of it?
Oh, nothing. The name was familiar. I can't remember where I'd heard it. I'm pretty sure. Is that a nickname Billy said?
Nickname?
Huh? A girl at the back of the crowd stepped forward and glared at me sharply.
Do you just say nickname? How rude. The term is title.
Right.
Mitsuki-san, Masaya-san has only been attending the school for one day. It is natural that he should be unfamiliar with Vincent and his vocabulary. Don't you agree? In addition, you don't get to call her Miyogi-san. Address her as Marika-sama. Understand?
I do remember Mitsuki never warming up to me on like I think the game ended in the with happiness before I could ever warm up to Mitsuki, unfortunately. Right.
Well, she doesn't really matter as much because in the base game she's not a romance option.
I don't think she isn't with happiness either.
Really?
I don't think so anyway. I was misremembering.
That's enough, Mitsuki. But I'm afraid that it doesn't seem proper to address my Masaya-kun with an honorific either. Well then, Masaya-kun, it seems your first goal will be to pass the premier judgment at the end of the first term. You know, this game is actually where I learned about honorifics in Japanese culture. This game actually, this is where I first learned about them. That's how long ago I watched this. Watched a playthrough.
The fact that they keep misspelling judgment, but I'm sure it's intentional, just kind of triggering.
Wait, how did they spell it?
Oh.
Well,
and
it is an older game, so I can believe they have a couple spelling errors here and there.
And normally it's like Judge when it's not supposed to be an E there, MENT. So
that one I can forgive because I still do that sometimes.
Oh, okay.
I wish you luck. Farewell.
With that, Marika on the intro departed the classroom. Interrogated the classroom.
And entourage.
Entire class, I was sigh of relief. Wait, what'd you say?
I said it's entourage.
Entourage, thank you. Is she famous or something?
Yes. Even before she became La Tortoiseur and class president, she was already renowned as Grande Fleur.
Huh?
I can see that I'm speaking nonsense to you. I'll explain later.
Please do. I feel like I'm walking through a minefield here. Why did the girl get so mad at me?
Mitsuki-san is...
She's a friend of yours?
The students of Vincennes are all friends, in a way. That is what familia means.
I see.
Mitsuki-san has changed somewhat since she became Marika-sama's chief de corps. She was never like that before.
The bell rang, and we took our seats. Everyone at school was like friends and family? I didn't think she was lying. When a school was several hundred students, some relationships would be stronger than others. It seemed to me that Riche-san's relationship to Mitsuki had been one of the stronger ones.
I just know you're not gonna pronounce their names correctly.
The titles you made?
No, because it's not, you don't pronounce the U in a Japanese name like that.
Mitsuki's?
You would pronounce it Mitsuki.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna...
S-U-K-I, you pronounce ski. The only...
Mitsuki, okay.
In DDLC, the way you're supposed to pronounce her name is Natsuki, but since it's made by an American for an English audience, they pronounce it Natsuki.
Okay.
That's why I purposefully pronounce it Natsuki, because I know that's the intention.
Well, I mean, I do agree that Natsuki sounds better than Natsuki.
Yeah, it's however you want to do it. It's just I say Natsuki for DDLC, and then I pronounce it the right way for everybody else.
That's so weird.
I don't know. It's just how I see it. Because I pronounced it Natsuki before I ever knew the correct way to say those kinds of names, so it's just kind of stuck in my brain that way.
Do you say Sayori or Sayori? Or
I say Sayori.
Oh, okay. It was a long-winded lunch break. Riche-san led me to the dining hall.
DDLC is gonna be fun with the pronunciations. I could see you getting annoyed with me.
Maybe. I do see myself getting maybe annoyed by Natsuki, but
at least Monica and Yuri are simple.
Uh-huh.
Because those sound the same in English too. Did you read this one?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow, I'm hungry.
You're always hungry, aren't you?
I only slept this morning. I didn't even notice when the staff knocked on my door to wake me up.
How are you enjoying life in the dormitory? Any problems?
Not at all. It's like a dream.
In the school? Are you acclimating?
Well, it's only the first day after all.
I know how you feel, but you can't spend all your time feeling ashamed.
Right. I feel conspicuous even walking through the halls, but I feel I'd probably be used to that after a few days. It was everything else that would be the challenge.
I know it will go well. I'm sure you'll have a long association with this school, right?
Right. Oh, this place looks great!
Yes, the dining hall is a very popular place.
I bet. Well, let's get lined up.
First, you need to take a chip.
Chip? There was a basket on a corner table. The students were pulling out a token-like disc from it.
The chips represent a menu item. There will always be 2 main dishes which change daily.
What do we pay?
Payment is included in our tuition, so it's free.
I see. I feel a little guilty. I never paid tuition.
Of course not. You're here on scholarship, after all.
I was also getting an allowance from the school, but if I wasn't spending on the meals, I wasn't sure where I would use it. The menu was pasted up next to the box. It looked like a Western and Japanese meal option. I guess I'll have a lasagna. I had only had it a few times before. What about you, Riche-san?
I believe I'll have the soba.
We took our orders from the counter. Then quickly took a seat. That's it! Rize was making the sign of a cross.
Oh, it's just a habit. Even though I'm not a Christian, I've just been at Vincennes for so long.
It seems like Rizeness has a lot of customs of his own.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. I promised to tell you about that. We'll talk while we eat.
I listened to Rize's explanation of delicious food dance on my tongue.
First, regarding titles. At Vincennes, many of us have a second name we're known by.
They're basically nicknames, right?
Yes, although, as Mitsuki-san illustrated earlier, we don't call them nicknames here. I couldn't tell you why.
I see. It all seems very complicated, but I promise to pay attention. When in Rome, as they say.
In addition, only the student council president's title takes the definite article la.
The definite article? You mean like the in English, right?
That's right. The student council president's title is la tutelle. This is how it's always been.
What does that mean?
Everyone's big sister.
I see. That's an appropriate title for a student council president.
Marika-sama's personal title, Grand Fleur, means great flower.
She did have a grand sort of air to her, though she wasn't ostentatious about it.
That's true. She's always been popular, obviously, enough to be elected president.
Then what was Mitsuki-san's? You said something like chef something?
Chef de corps. It means captain of the guard.
Captain of the guard? I just figured she was a really good cook or something.
Ah, chef? It does have that meaning as well, of course. The origin is the same. Mitsuki-san is, how to put it, one of Marika-sama's retinue. That's where the title came from.
Retinue, huh? Marika-san had brought a small group with her, which included Mitsuki-san. She had looked a bit like a hospital director surrounded by doctors and nurses. It sounds like you don't like it? Being part of a retinue?
That's true. It doesn't really suit me. Being part of someone else's retinue means you become dependent on them for ways of looking and thinking about things. I could never approve of that.
Maybe that way of thinking was why Rize-san had put herself at the vanguard of the school reform. Do you have a title, Rize-san?
Yes, I'm known as Soleil de Cour,
What does it mean?
son of the school.
Oh, I like that. High praise. But I can see where it came from. And in Rize-san's case, it wasn't just her beauty. She had even slipped out of school to do her scouting work. That kind of decisiveness had probably earned a notice.
No, please don't look at me like that.
So sorry.
It's not that I don't like it, but I don't like this custom that seems to rank students by worth. But I do like titles that reflect a person's personality. For instance, Ritsuko, who you met this morning.
What's her title?
Belle Alpine. It means beautiful briar rose.
Yeah, that does seem to suit her.
Doesn't it? Well, I think that's about it for titles. Next, I think I'll tell you about ordinary modes of address.
There are rules about those too? That's right. Mitsuki mentioned something about her that too. In addition, you don't get to call her Miyogi-san. Address as Marika-sama. Understood? Understand? At the time, I had no idea what she was talking about.
Those of a higher grade level are given the suffix sama to show respect. Those of the same grade level are given the suffix san to show closeness. Those of a lower grade level are given no suffix to show affection. This is how we do things in Vincennes.
I can see what she meant. Rize-san had followed those rules and speaking to everyone around her. I'm gonna try as hard as I can to do things the Vincennes way. Though saying sama, it's gonna be hard to get used to.
I think you'll be fine doing things the way you have been.
Really?
You don't want to blend in so much that you ignore the differences between men and women. You see what I mean? You're here to change Vincent S. after all. Of course, you can't do everything by yourself, but you're the kind of man who can change the perceptions of people around you.
I am? I didn't think I was that influential. But I would have to give it a try. At least, if I wanted to see him in graduation.
I don't intend to turn you into the second coming of Jesus, of course. But you did come here to take up a sword and fight. This won't be a peaceful revolution.
As we spoke, someone appeared beside us at the other table.
I like that they make that obvious, because his name is literally Messiah.
Uh-huh. I think this is Tamie. Never mind.
It's the cutie. She's the reporter girl, right?
Yeah, I remember having very mixed feelings about her.
Excuse me, can I cut in? Oh, Tamie-san.
Oh, it is Tamie-san. Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Nogi Tamie. I'm the news club's ace reporter. I'm going to be reporting on your top duties for the year, or, well, however long you stay. I wanted to introduce myself.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. I'm Okunogi Messiah. We just refer to her as with San. That means she was a second-year student.
Well, let's have a quick interview. Do you mind?
I don't know why I keep thinking like she has cat ears under that hat. Probably because that cat does have cat ears, but what? Tamie produced a microphone, a recorder, and a camera out of nowhere. Then she turned the camera towards me.
Wow, the camera just loves you. Come on, smile, smile.
What?
Oh, Tamie-san, you're making him uncomfortable. Well, we'll do the pictures later then. Wouldn't want to get stuck with a bad picture. We want you looking nice and handsome, right? We'll get the interview out of the way then. That okay?
Before I could even answer, she clicked on the recorder and turned the mic to me. I bent back in my chair and asked her the question that had been bugging me. Do you always carry those things around with you?
Of course. My microphone, recorder, and camera are my holy trinity.
Right. I didn't quite know what Holy Trinity meant, but it sounded impressive.
Messiah-san, this is a good opportunity for us.
What?
Well, we need to let people know who you are. It would be best for us to make use of mass media. That's right! Our news club publishes a newspaper daily. We leave them in the classrooms in the morning, so give it a read tomorrow.
Right!
We didn't have the main edition because it's the first day today, but look, we published an extra.
Tamie pulled an A3 size piece of newsprint. Oh,
I didn't mean to skip that, I'm sorry. Oh, do you want to read it? Oh, that's mine. Amazing. An extra about what? It would be a disgrace to the news club's name not to publish big news like this, right? Fresh off the presses. Have a look if you want. Thank you.
Thanks.
It sure is frustrating though. Even with our network, we couldn't break the story earlier. It happened in the middle of spring vacation, and we wanted to avoid causing a fuss. No one even saw you! How long have you been here?
Since April 1st.
You've been in your room the whole time?
Yes.
I see. That would explain it. But, oh well. It's fun to get a bombshell dropped right in your lap at the start of the new year.
Tamie-san, are you...
Yeah?
I don't mean this in a negative way, but you talk like a normal person. That is to say, closer than I'm used to.
Oh, I guess that's true. Probably because I'm an intermediary course tourist.
That's something I've been wondering about. What is this intermediate course?
Primary, intermediary, and final course are the stages of Vincent's education.
Oh, I see.
The primary course building is here on Mount Amuro as well, but in a different location. The intermediate course building is right in front of us.
Now that she mentions it, there were two school buildings facing each other. I see. What does it mean by tourist then?
That's... Well, enough about me. Messiah-san's the interviewee here.
Right. Though I am still eating. Tamie seemed like a very forceful person.
Let's start with what brought you here. It seems like it must be a strange set of circumstances. Am I right? I never thought they'd find a proper student for this special scholarship. And yet, you're here. Plus, you're not a freshman, you're a second-year student, which means you had to transfer. I think everyone would like to know how you ended up here. How about giving us a statement?
I glanced over at Rishi-san. She looked back at me blankly.
What is it?
Well, I mean, should I be honest?
What do you mean? You acted wonderfully that night, Messiah-san.
But what about what happened before then?
About
About my background. Since, in a way, I threw my whole life to come here. Which means I had the kind of background it's okay to make a wash of. I don't know if it's okay to say that flat out. But I can't just lie about it either.
Messiah-san, you're referring to your family's situation, I suppose?
Well, yeah.
That it makes you feel inferior?
Yeah.
Messiah-san, the child and parent are entirely separate people.
Rishi-san leaned forward and looked sharply into my eyes.
The person who should feel ashamed is the man who earned that debt, not the person he forced it on. That's what I believe. I believe that you yourself are a fine man, so please, relax and give your interview.
Right. I will. Was Tamie just not listening then?
No, I think they were like talking aside.
Oh, okay.
Oh my, you two just met, haven't you? You've already won the trust of our Solil de Cool. I just know everyone will be surprised by the excellence of my judgment. That remains to be seen. Well, Messiah-san, let's get to the interview.
Time was short, so I had to do it quickly. But I told her the story from beginning to end. Rishi-san addressed me as we returned to class.
That's right, I forgot to mention, but would you come with me after class?
What's going on after class?
The chairwoman mentioned it this morning. The officers of the White Lily and Red Rose Societies have to come to her office. I'm an officer in the White Lily Society, so I have to go. I thought it might be nice if you came along. I'm sure the discussion will be about you.
Got it. But what are the White Lily and Red Rose Societies?
They're the student council's servants. Rather, they're supplementary societies. Well, I'll explain it to you after class.
Got it.
Dun, 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 dun.
After class, I went with Rishi-san to the chairwoman's office.
Before we hear what the chairwoman has to say, let's review your place here and Vincent S.'s current state.
Yeah, let's do that. So much has happened, my head is still spinning.
First, Vincent S.'s current state. We're losing students, and the reconstruction of the campus buildings has left us in dire financial straits. In order to recover, we need more students. However, given the trend in the last few years, that seems unlikely. The only reliable method would be to accept boys to the school and become coeducational, but of course there are those that oppose this idea. The board of directors was split for a long time, until the chairwoman finally made a ruling. She said that we would accept one sample male student. That's you, of course, Messiah-san.
Right.
What is the purpose of the sample? Because the question of reform is to be decided by the students themselves. But because so few of them have experienced the company of voice before, they won't be able to make an informed decision. As the chairwoman said, male transfer students would be needed to help guide their judgment. Naturally, we don't expect you to represent the entirety of the male sex.
That's one thing I'm not sure about. Shouldn't the assignment involve a few more people? Or was it just that you couldn't find anyone else?
No, they all wanted just one student. That was also consciously decided.
Why?
The traditionalist board members demanded it. Can you imagine why that would be?
Because they don't want boys in the school?
We. But I believe this was a mistake on the part of the traditionalist faction.
A mistake? Why?
Well, to find 51 good people out of 100, or just one. The latter is easier, don't you think?
Well, I guess so.
That's how much we're counting on you, Messiah-san.
Right.
The mission of the scholarship student, or rather what we hope to see, is for you to change how the others feel. Let me make this very clear. At present, it is safe to assume that of the entire student body, I clicked out. I'm the only one in favor of reform.
I see.
Everyone feels change. I know that as well as anyone.
But they know the school would close otherwise, right? How can you be the only one?
Let me make an example. Have you ever thought about your own death, Messiah-san?
What?
At some point within the next century, you will die. Have you ever thought seriously about that?
Well, no.
Neither have I. I believe this may be a similar mindset at play.
I see.
But I want Vincentess to stay here forever.
Risa's son had said that once before. She was hoping to reform because she loved Vincentess.
There is another reason as well. I believe we would be better off as a co-educational school, rather than as an all-girls one.
Huh? Really?
Because I know how indispensable men really are.
Huh?
Well, setting aside my personal opinion, there are only two sexes in this world. It seems odd to dismiss one of them entirely.
Guess so.
Well, Messiah-san, from now on, your duty as a scholarship student is to make those around you accept your presence.
In other words, to make them think I deserve to stay at Vincentess.
That's right. And the first test will be at the end of the first trimester. I really do feel sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Risa sounds genuinely upset about it.
Miyogi-sama was very insistent on that point. It puts the scholarship student and the reform party at great disadvantage.
Oh, that's right. When Marika-san arrived, I thought her last name sounded familiar.
Yes, Miyogi-sama, the board's advisor, is Marika-sama's grandmother.
Which means that Marika-san is against us?
It is likely.
Her expression was very serious. As I totally saw I totally saw when Marika was bound to kill a lot of influence. We just was right to go, oh fuck. Soleil de crap. How do you say that?
Soleil de Cool.
Soleil de Cool. Okay. It clearly had a lot of influence on her own, but
I'm just assuming. I have no idea how to. I don't speak French.
I'm starting to feel nervous about this. Either way, it would be hard to pass any reform if the student body president wasn't in favor of it.
I believe the first vote will be a low hurdle, though. At least, it is easier to accept than school-wide reform, don't you think?
I guess.
It's true. Though, of course, we don't want to declare a victory just yet.
Resistance spoke the words as if it was a warning to herself, and then continued.
Then, at the end of the year, we'll hold the grand vote. In actuality, this vote is just about electing the next student council president, but...
It made sense. The president of the board was so regular, there wouldn't be a substitute in place for it.
all the students vote in the student council election. This is the same everywhere, right?
That's right. It was the same in my school.
And generally, anyone can announce themselves as a candidate, right?
Yeah. Is it different in this nest?
Technically anyone can, but there's... you could call it precedent or tradition, but usually there can only be two candidates. One is the head of the White Lily Society, the other is the head of the Red Rose Society.
Those were two groups that have been called to the chairwoman's office.
By the way, unlike the precedent, the selection of society heads is done immediately after the beginning of first term.
Oh, so it's coming soon, right?
Yes, it's actually today. The vote will take place immediately after we speak to the chairwoman.
This meant that unlike the council elections, the societies chose their own officers.
Although we usually decide amongst ourselves at the end of the third term, so it's really just a formality. That's to say, we've already unofficially been chosen. I'm the head of the White Lily Society, and Mitsuki-san is the head of the Red Rose.
Oh, so next year's election will be a contest between the two of you.
That's right, and we'll each present our manifesto. Mine will be reform, and Mitsuki-san's will be preservation of the old ways.
In other words, the fate of school reform came down to which one was elected president. You could almost say that they had appropriated the meaning of the traditional granny vote just to represent that decision.
Interesting. In reality, it will be the White Lily Society and the Red Rose Society, Mitsuki-san and I competing, but the real deciding factor will be you. So please, do the best you can.
Risa-san reached out to take my hand. I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I did want to continue attending Vincent S. Right.
Oh my, they're holding hands. She really is progressive, isn't she?
It's just a handshake, you know?
Oh, they're holding hands. You cooties.
How lewd.
How lewd. Right in the middle of the hallway, too.
A dozen people gathered in the Kimono's office.
It looks like you're all here. I'm sorry I'm late. I was speaking to him about everything that had happened. Rise-sama. Masaya-sama is not a member of the association.
Hi, Ritsuko.
Ritsuko!
Whoa. Even I can be Sama? It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's a year underneath us.
I always thought Ritsuko was like one of the most beautiful ones in the entire game. I think this design just does it for me.
I'm well aware of that, but Masaya-san will be the subject of the conversation. Even so. Now, it's no trouble.
The chairwoman spoke patiently.
I'm not trying to give my granddaughter special treatment, but Rise is correct. It will be easier if he is here for the discussion. Very well.
Ritsuko-san. I'll call him a minor. She was younger after all. They evidently were rented. She's an officer then? I wonder what society. This is a room where somebody divided into two groups. If these were the White Lily and Red Rose societies, and Ritsuko-chan, who was the thing that was missing-san, was the Red Rose. I could not have messed up that.
I believe you all know why I've called you here. It regards next year's grand vote. It's fine, you'll learn to read eventually.
Sorry.
I do understand. For some reason, whenever you have to read something out loud, it suddenly becomes way harder for some reason. Maybe because you're using so much more of your brain than if you're just reading it quietly. When changing oh, sorry, go ahead.
I know some people like to read out loud, like it's sticks in their mind, but I personally just read it silently.
I have a lot of trouble reading out loud sometimes.
Okay.
I think doing this stuff will help, I think. When changing fundamental principles of school society, or school policy, naturally the people's will is required. Masaya-kun was allowed to come here to help guide that will, but I don't believe that will be enough. I would like the White Lily and Red Rose societies to assist him. What do you mean? To shape the will of the people. In the year to come, I want you all to work to educate the students in preparation for the grand vote. While I do not doubt the judgment of the Feliz de la Vincennes, there is a tendency to treat the grand vote as a popularity contest. I want you all to work hard to make sure that doesn't happen this time. That is what I called you all here to say. How do you feel, Mitsuki? Naturally, I have no objections. Everyone knows that this student council election will represent the school's future. I see. Rise? I agree completely. This was my intent from the beginning. I see. Then I expect both associations to work diligently on the matter this year. Are there any objections?
No political objections came from Mitsuki-san's group. But from Risa-san's group, in other words, my so-called allies, a voice spoke up.
I cannot participate, although I do not disagree with you in concept. Why is that, Yumi? Because I'm against reform.
That's right. Risa-san said she was the only one on the side of reform. Just because they were members of the White Lily Society didn't necessarily mean they agree with Risa-san's ideas.
So tell me that I must act to aid reform. If I may be blunt, it's ridiculous. me. Pardon me, Rise-sama, but I absolutely refuse to participate in this task. No, I'm sorry. I spoke thoughtlessly. I was thinking of the White Lily and Red Rose as blocks. I failed to acknowledge that their members have their own beliefs.
The name of Yumi looked at the floor in silence for a time, and finally spoke in a whisper.
It's just that the eventual fate of our school will come down to the result of the grand vote. So
She untied the ribbon on her arm.
Me? I return this to you, Rise-sama.
She held the ribbon out to Rishi-san, who took it wide-eyed. It was then that I noticed she was wearing the same ribbon on her own arm. As was her, Rishi-san and Rishi-chan had them too, but the color was different.
Excuse me.
She left the room hurriedly. Another student addressed Rishi-san.
It appears that the lion's share of the work for reform has at some point been pushed onto our association. Rise, do you intend to fight this battle under the banner of reform? Yes. Then I cannot participate either.
One refused to cave in for another. In the end, all the members of the White Lily Society had left the room. Rishi-san stood there, dejectedly, with countless blue ribbons in her hands, seeing the door from which the ally had gone.
Oh, so naive. I just assumed that the members of the White Lily would agree to help me, even though I knew from the start that they were all against reform. What will you do, Rise-san? You seem to have lost all your allies.
Do you think this is between them, or is well? We obviously have a role in it because it includes us too. So yeah, let's speak. Not all of them.
What?
I'm here.
Masaya-san. Listen, you can't just join an association. The positions were chosen last year by a vote among the previous members. We all had to go through the voting process. To think you can just waltz in here and...
I may not know much about business organizations. I may not be an official member. But I don't care. I'm still gonna help Risa-san. You can't possibly object to that, can you? Risa-san let out a heavy breath and turned back to Risa-san.
Well then, Rise-san, what do you intend to do? The White Lily Society members have all returned their ribbons. Do you really intend to compete in the grand vote without the backing of the White Lily Society? Yes, of course.
Risa-san nodded defiantly.
Always been strong-willed, and I always... Okanogi Masaya-san.
Yeah?
I am against you, against boys, and against integration. I mean no offense, but I intend to get you out of here by the end of the first term. Excuse me.
With those clipped words, she marched out of the room, the footsteps ringing behind her.
Belle Lapine, do you feel the same way? I would feel uncomfortable overturning the way things have always been. I don't particularly like the idea of having class with boys. Well, I suppose that stands to reason, but still. I suppose that makes me a true traditionalist. In that regard, Mitsuki-sama and I are the same. I see. Would that be all, Madam Chairwoman? Yes, I think so. Then, if you will excuse me.
The Red Rose members left one by one, until it was just us and a chill little room alone.
It's funny how people like Mitsuki, she's somehow being mean. It feels like she's being mean and rude, but also respectful at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, how long did they say Vince Ness was an all-girls school?
Long time.
Yeah, so just having boys doing it, obviously, some people are not gonna like that.
I mean, yeah, but I guess it's just like that same thing. I do give Rise's points. Well, they're obviously not gonna think about the fact that the school's gonna die. That's not on their minds, but it's also that's just really irresponsible. But I mean, it's mostly just the fact that she's no offense to you, but I don't like your gender. It's she's somehow being polite about it, but also really rude. at the same time.
I'm happy Ritsuko didn't like speak at all until like when she was asked by Risa. Like I can imagine like, she was like standing in the corner just watching the entire situation unfold.
Did you read this one?
Yes.
I suppose we will be going as well. Salutations, grandmother. Yes, salutations. Rise has certainly found herself a fine young man. Now then, this will be quite difficult.
But despite Risa's words, I can sense a smile in the tone.
But I think it'll work out somehow. We just need to work together.
Objectively speaking, things have really gone from bad to worse. Yet for some reason, I felt a strange sort of confidence. As long as we decided everything we could, things would work out. Yeah. I gave her a firm nod and shook her hand again. This time there was no students around us, and no students accompanied.
I see. So that's what happened. I really was surprised. I never thought she would try it alone. She isn't known as Soleil de Cool for nothing, after all. But I'm afraid Rise-san is gonna lose this time. You can't win an election without officers backing you. Yes, that is true. But just for safety's sake, I believe I should drop out as head of the Red Rose Society. What do you mean? It is true that Rise-san is much more popular than I am. Oh, don't say that. You're very charming, Mitsuki. Even so, I think that Ritsuko would do better as head of the society. Ritsuko? There's no rule against a freshman leading a society, after all. That is true. Belle Alpine's popularity is equal to Rise-san's. If she were to lead the society, our victory would be assured. Have you spoken with Ritsuko about it? I don't believe she'll refuse. You're likely correct. One-sama, please just tell me one thing. What is it? You know you can ask me anything. One-sama, what do you think about the reforms they're proposing? Mitsuki, do you know what I treasure more than anything in this world? Maintaining the peace of Vincennes. That's because I am La Tote Sœur. Well then... Well, I believe the first thing to do is determine his character. Would you come with me, Mitsuki? Yes, ma'am. That's the end of the game. That's it.
That's the end of the game.
Yeah, thanks for joining. I know, it's really, really fun.
I remember this introduction being really funny.
I think this is where we're gonna leave off for today, though.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's a good place to end at the end of this chapter.
Oh.
So yeah, we got to introduced to the societies. We met my least favorite character. We have met another character that I don't really remember that well, which was Mitsuki. But yeah, it's I'm still excited. I'm still excited to. Although the upcoming scene is one of my least favorites in the game. We're almost. We'll deal with it. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to see more in the future. Because we are gonna play the entire game.
Yup.
No matter how many times it tells us the end. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.